Hello, GamingStooges audience. It's June 23rd. That means it's Sonic anniversary. We care about Sonic, I guess. We care enough to do this video. And this video, as you can see from the title, is us, the GamingStooges. We'll be ranking every 3D Sonic game from worst to best.
Just a disclaimer, the 3D games that are in this list are according to the Wikipedia entry for Sonic games as they categorize the 3D games.
Yes.
So Sonic Boom Rise of Lyric was not in that section, so it will not be on this list.
Yeah. Just assume that if Sonic Boom was on this list, that it would be last place.
Probably.
So how this works...
That's definitely.
Yeah. How this works is that the four of us each came up with our own worst to best list. I compiled them together, and we have a combined list of the collective Gaming Stooges subconscious of the worst to best 3D Sonic games.
So how did you assign points exactly? Was it like...
I literally just did it like...
down to 1?
Yeah, 13 down to 1. First place gets 13 points, second place gets 12, all the way down to last place getting 1 point.
There's 13 games on this list, by the way.
Yes. You'll see the games as they come up on the screen. I feel like I don't need to name them. I will say that Sonic 3D Blast is included on the list because it was kind of like we were kind of deciding, should we include 3D Blast? Wikipedia says yes, so we did.
All
praise our Lord's Wikipedia.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
So starting from the bottom, we're just going to get right into it. Starting from the bottom, in very, very last place, at 13th, is Sonic 06. Who's surprised? Not me. I had Sonic 06 at 11th. Cloud had Sonic 06 at 9th. Landon had it in last, and Justin had it in last.
You want to know the sad thing is? I had the 360 version out of everybody, so technically I had the better version. I still fucking hate it.
And yet you S-ranked the entire game.
Ugh.
Why? Why did you put yourself through that?
For funsies.
I don't know. So yes, 3D Blast, 06 is notoriously, often considered the worst game in the series, which is something I wouldn't necessarily agree with. I personally think the game, yes, it's bad. It's really bad. But, I think it's a little overhated. I think there's something to admire about the level design. It's not by no means good, but there's something there. Even though the controls suck, the graphics suck, the story sucks, the voice acting sucks, it's all really, really bad. But, it's not the worst, and for the most part, it resembles a 3D Sonic game.
Yeah, I think the reason why I put it a little bit higher is a couple of the games on the list I didn't play, and I really could only go off of what I've seen with the game. So, there was a couple that ended up lower, and there was also another game that I played, a couple games I played that I adamantly do believe are actually worse than Sonic 06, and we'll get to those when we get there. But the reason why I think I put it so high, I mean, 9th isn't particularly high, but yeah, like Jack said, it's a bad game, but there's something in the level design, and if it weren't for the fact that this game is clearly an unfinished buggy mess, I think that there is something there that can be appreciated. And I don't know, I guess it's just because of the kind of player I am about games in general, but I like when, there's silly glitches, and even though, Sonic 06 is a buggy mess, similarly to Pokemon Red and Blue, there's certain bugs and glitches in that game that I actually can't help but laugh at, like being able to spin on a crate and just go up into space. The music is also actually still really decent.
The music is actually really good. The music in my opinion, actually for me personally, the music probably puts this game a step above the two games that I had below it.
Yeah, because the music is really actually on par with other really good Sonic tracks. The thing that holds it back is
everything else.
It's pretty much like everything else. The level design is not the worst, but it's definitely really bad. But yeah, it's just
Oh, sorry.
No, I don't
Landon,
have anything else.
Lennon, do you have anything to say about Sonic 06?
It's a fucking glorified tech demo of what could be, but will never be. So, it's automatic last
The funny thing is,
material.
the actual tech demo they had of Sonic 06 actually had more features than the real game did.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah.
Like
Go
I
ahead.
forget. No, I forgot what I was going to say.
This game is only for fans of Bethesda games because you like broken pieces of garbage, and that's it.
See, now here's the thing. That's another thing too. Is that in my opinion, like 06 is a very fun game to point and laugh at how bad it is, because like it's really fun to riff on. So like I think that gives it some amount of merit over some other games in the series, which are either like just not fun at all or really fucking boring.
Not really. That's not a thing people should rate games on.
It's not, but you know, that's my opinion.
Well, we're all entitled to be wrong, I guess.
All right, shut the fuck up. Okay, so unless we had anything else to say, oh, by the way, Sonic 06 had 10 points. That was on the screen the whole time, but I forgot to mention that.
You didn't really give Justin a chance to say anything.
Did you want to say anything, Justin?
Not really. Besides the fact that one of Silver's levels can eat a dick.
All of
Flame
Silver's
yeah.
levels can eat a dick.
Well, no, I was thinking more of those fucking what is it? Or was that Flankcore the one with the fucking that puzzle where you got? It's basically like he's playing fucking billiards with himself.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the desert one.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The speaking of which, the characters, like some of them control okay, but then there's others that like are just really, really just vomit inducing.
Fuck you, Knuckles. See, that's the real reason why Sonic 06 is last on Lennon's list, because Knuckles fucking sucks in that game.
He sticks to the walls and he doesn't come off.
Okay, so if we're ready to move on, at 12th is Shadow the Hedgehog with 13 points. This was last on my list. This was second to last on Cloud's list. This was fucking 9th and on both Landon and Justin's lists. My question to you two, why the fuck?
I can tolerate Shadow more than I can tolerate 06.
Because he has a funny gun that looks like a chicken.
May I start this one?
Sure.
The thing about Shadow is that it controls bad. Like even the
Controls
game
really bad.
Like even the GameCube version, which is like probably like the superior version, is still really bad. The level design is really bland, really uninteresting. Like at least Sonic 06 has some interesting level design, even if it's not executed well. But Shadow's level design is not only not executed very well, it's also really fucking boring. And the aesthetics to literally everything is just like garbage, bland colors. There's nothing interesting going on there. The music is not very good either. Like, I really don't actually like the music at all. The story is not as bad as 06. I will give the story this. That's why it's not like the worst. Like, but at the same time, it's like, it's so stupid. It's so fucking dumb. And the way that they make you play through like different levels and you do like Hero and Dark like missions and stuff, they're really executed bad. They're really annoying to play, and like the story just doesn't make you feel rewarded for doing any of it. It's just it is one of the games that like I tried to go back to like years after I first played it, and like I played it just to beat it, but I never went back to it, and I have no desire to, not even to like laugh at anything, because there's nothing to really laugh at. Like at least 06 you can like laugh at stupid shit in there, but it's like I don't like Shadow at all. The game is just it's so bad, and it doesn't do the character justice, unfortunately.
Yeah, no, I thought about it, and I really thought about it, and I'm like, yeah, no, Shadow is my least favorite out of all the 3D Sonic games. It's fucking garbage. There's like so little about this game I enjoy. The chicken gun aside. like Cloud said, the level design sucks. The levels are boring to look at. The music is boring. Who cares? The voice acting is bad. The story is needlessly edgy. The swearing, for some reason, I mean, it's like that's
unnecessary.
Unnecessary. Where is that damn fourth Chaos Emerald? But on top of that, it also has this fucking garbage, terrible mission structure where it's like you have to kill X amount of enemies to clear like a certain like level, and it just sucks. It's so bad. It's like kill fucking 60 gun soldiers to fucking do the evil story on like Westopolis, and it's like, God, no, fuck you. This sucks. I hate it.
Like, take the missions from Team Chaotix and Sonic Heroes, but make it happen even in an even more worse design game, and make the missions even more ridiculous.
And on top of that, you have to play through the same levels and the same missions over and over again so you can get every ending so that you can unlock the true ending, which you have to do by doing all 10 possible endings before that. And you can't just pick a spot on the fucking, like, alignment chart, not alignment chart, but, you know, the choice map or whatever you want to call it. You have to start from the beginning, so you have to play through fucking Westopolis 10 times. God, this game sucks. Alright, you two can talk about it.
Well, for one thing, the gunplay is competent, so I can't get angry at that. Actually, the guns are actually kind of fun to use if you can actually get a good supply of them that don't fucking suck ass, which is basically anything that's not the pistol, because, you know, fully automatic weapons are obviously the better way to go because the other guns are kind of shit.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
I kind of like the concept of, like, building chaos energy, because this is, like, literally, like, at the time, the only... Well, I mean, I guess unless you count the T-Blast and Heroes, but this is, like, the only time you can actually use Shadow's chaos powers that he's supposed to have, but, you know, he just kind of does them in cutscenes. I'm not saying I like, the presentation of it all, because it's, like, fucking mood whiplash up the ass. It's like, what the hell? It's like, we got this after Heroes. What is this? But, like I said, I think I've said it in like other LPs too, that I don't hate Shadow as much as other people do, simply because I still think, as annoying as it is, it's still somewhat competent. Like, you could play through the game and not like have something like break your gameplay like 06 would, or like there's not anything that really gets in the way. It's just really memorizing where all the fucking objectives are and then actually doing them. I mean, if you're just playing casually and you don't give a fuck about the last story or whatever you want to call it in this game, you could probably get through it pretty quickly. It's just when you're trying to 100% it is when it pisses people off, you know? Although I will say the unlockable key things, they're not worth it.
I was gonna say, I didn't even bother with that shit.
Yeah, I don't care about the keys. Like, just beating the game was enough.
Landon, do you have anything to add?
Shadow is a terrible game, like 90% of all 3D Sonic games.
Oh,
wow.
Okay, IGN.
I can't help but feel like Shadow the Hedgehog, the game, was made for like 9-year-olds whose parents won't buy them Call of Duty.
I think it was. That was the audience I think Sega was trying to go for.
That was me. Except I didn't want to play Call of Duty. I wanted to play Sonic games.
Oh.
Oh, man. This game sucks. Do you have anything else to say, Landon? Or should we move on?
Using the dumb chaos abilities is kind of fun, which I don't know why they haven't, like, kind of brought that back in some form.
Yeah.
In any of the boost games. Well, I guess you have the Wisp powers now. But,
yeah. Kind of don't need them, though.
That's, like, the closest. Yeah, no, I don't really have anything else, because...
The Wisps don't like Shadow because they don't like his negative energy.
Well, he's the coolest, so that's why.
They can't handle his level of coolness.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on. Number 11 is Sonic and the Secret Rings, also with 13 points, but like in our console video, tiebreaker wins out whoever had which game higher on their own list. And Sonic and the Secret Rings beats out Shadow the Hedgehog because Justin had it 7th on his list. Sonic and the Secret Rings was 12th on my list, last on Cloud's list, 11th on Landon's list, and like I said, 7th on Justin's. So, hey Cloud, do you want to start since you hate this game more than life itself?
The thing about Sonic games that a lot of people complain about is it feels like there's a lack of control. Well, I hate Secret Rings because it's even worse than the games that people complain about with Sonic having a lack of control. And just design-wise, story-wise, like, it just is really corny. I didn't really like it. The
story sucks, I agree.
It's just... The music is okay-ish, and I think that's... I think, honestly, if it weren't for the fact that I hate how Sonic controls or lack of controls in this game, I might have actually put this above Shadow, but at least in with Shadow, I feel like I can actually control him to an extent and actually feel like I am playing the game rather than the game just kind of straddling me along, which is what Secret Rings does, and that's just why I fucking hate it. I'm here to play a game. I'm not here to just like feel like I'm tied to Sonic as he careens through a fucking stage. I'm done.
Okay. So, yeah, Secret Rings controls are fucking shit and suck ass. Like, it's an auto-run game, and you control Sonic by tilting the Wii Remote, which is the only control scheme, by the way. You press 2 to jump, the stupid thing is that you have to unlock the ability to move backwards. You literally cannot unless you fucking unlock the ability. It's so stupid. It's like the controls are needlessly restrictive. The story sucks. But at the same time, I still put this just a spot above Shadow because at least it doesn't have the dumb mission bullshit that Shadow does. And I think some of the level ideas, like not design, obviously, but like some of the level, like, aesthetics and some of the music, who's gonna rock the place, is actually pretty, yeah, it is.
This game is not gonna rock the place.
Oh,
if rocking the place is a good thing, this game is not rocking the place.
Okay. Yeah, no, there's aspects to this game I enjoy, but like overall it is still like a massive shit pile that I do not enjoy playing at all.
So,
who wants to go next? Landon?
Justin. Can.
Oh.
Tell us why you don't hate this game as much as we do.
Well, I'm gonna be the contrarian and say I actually love the music. Like, as corny as it is, that's exactly why I like it. But beyond that, I don't know what I did differently. Maybe I just got lucky and had a good experience with it. This is especially around the time where I really didn't like the Wii's motion control because I just, it's like the only game or the only system that actually had something like that. I wasn't really a fan of it, and yet I didn't have any real problems with the controls except for like the rare instance where I felt like I was supposed to do a homing attack and it like ate my input for some reason. But yeah, like I did not have any control issues with that game. I don't know why. It flowed pretty well for me. So already that's kind of why my score is a little higher, because I never really experienced any kind of like issues with the way Sonic moved. I also got really, I don't know if this like affects the experience too, but I also got really grindy at some point. So I had most of the abilities unlocked before I like really beat the game. It only took me 2 days to beat it, but I did spend some of that time grinding. And yeah, I do agree that grinding for Sonic's abilities is kind of shit, because it's like when you have like even like a nearly maxed out Sonic like I do, he pretty much just plays like how you'd expect Sonic to play. So it's like playing Sonic Labyrinth and then having to play through the stages to unlock Sonic's ability to not suck. That's pretty much like the best analogy I can come up with. I do agree, story's stupid as fuck. Like, god damn, I hate that line that Sonic says at the end of the game. It's like, no, stop it. But
Justin, just cry.
I'll make you cry.
I'll make you eat those words.
Oh, okay.
Landon, did you add anything? Oh.
No. Oh no, I was just gonna
Go
say,
ahead.
no, I was
Finish your
just,
thought.
I was pretty much finished. The only reason why it's at 7th and not even higher is because we still don't know who's gonna rock the place.
It's true. We will. We
And
may
who
never
will
know.
rock the place?
Unsolved Mysteries episode.
So I have very little experience with this game. I rented it once and did not very much care for it. Which is why Shadow is above it, actually, because I'd rather spend time playing Shadow than this game. And that's the
I
answer
can
to
already
that
tell
question.
that the Secret Rings LP is gonna be glorious.
You're
I
going to be the
mean-
one recording it. I'm going to say that.
Yeah. You
I will
actually
sit through an
enjoy
LP.
it, so.
I'll sit through an LP. I don't care.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I
just won't
I
play
sat
it.
through Adventure, so there's that. But yeah, that's all I have to say on that.
All right, moving on.
Okay, moving on from there. Our number 10 is Sonic 3D Blast with 15
Tasty.
points. 3D Blast was 10th on my list, 10th on Cloud's list, 10th on Landon's list, and 11th on Justin's list.
Almost
you fuck-
exactly 10th place across the board.
You fucker.
Yeah. This game sucks.
It's not even really a 3D game.
Okay, yeah. That's the thing too. This game isn't like technically flawed. It's just fucking boring, and I don't like it.
Yeah.
Collecting the flickies is like in every level.
It's
Will
stupid, and I
grind
hate
your
it.
gears eventually. Some of the levels, from what I remember, some of the later levels are actually decent. I remember, though, spending so much time stuck in the first level when I was playing it on PC that I was just like, nope, not playing this anymore.
I didn't get to play the Saturn version, which I heard was a little bit better. I did listen to the music though, which is different between the two versions for some reason. I played the Genesis version. The music is okay. It aesthetically is pretty plain. Like, at first it looks like it's a pretty interesting game because it's like an isometric view and there's like popping colors, but then they just use the same exact aesthetic for every single level except just swap the colors out, and it's like really boring, and
Yeah.
you do the exact same thing every level. And I did get a decent way into the game. I didn't beat it, but I did get a decent way into the game. And it was a game. That's all I really have to say. It was not a fun game. It was not a terrible game. It was a game.
Oh.
The best thing that I can say about this game is that it functions.
It is a functioning game.
Actually, that's not true. The soundtrack is pretty good. At least the Saturn soundtrack, at least. I
Yeah.
love the Saturn soundtrack. But overall,
This is probably one of the most it's there games on this list.
it's probably the single most it's there game on this list.
It
It's
exists.
yeah. It's whatever. I don't.
Justin,
I
did you
don't.
have
Justin,
anything to add?
you actually put it lower than the rest of us.
Yeah, I mean, it's... I don't like this type of game. It's kind of not my style, especially with Sonic. It's like, I get too many fucking Vietnam Labyrinth flashbacks. I don't need to deal with that. It's like, if I remember correctly, I don't know what version it was, I just remember hearing it. I kind of got what I like to call reverse nostalgia, where it's like you're nostalgic about a game that's technically younger than the game you're playing. Because one of the versions, the soundtrack, if I remember correctly, shares some music with Sonic Adventure, I think.
Yeah, Sonic Adventure remakes a few of the tracks from 3D Blast for its soundtrack, which is cool because, I mean, like we said, the 3D Blast soundtrack is fine. It's probably the highlight of the game, which not say much.
Yeah. I mean, so yeah, that's, like, I like the music, although I think I like the music a little bit more than other people, simply because it reminded me of Sonic Adventure. You know, I already like that soundtrack.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's about it.
All right, moving on.
All
again.
right. Fuck 3D Blast. All right. Number 9 is Sonic Lost World with 21 with 21 points. It's 9th on my list. It is, where is it? 11th on Cloud's list. It is, where is it? 12th on Justin's list, and third third place on Landon's list.
What?
Fuck you all.
Landon, explain yourself.
Actually, no.
don't have to.
No. We'll give him his time. Let's allow him to speak up for himself after we've already vented about why we don't care for this game.
You haven't even played the game, so
I have
skip
played the
Cloud. Cloud doesn't get to talk.
I have played this game, and I do not care for it.
Oh.
I think, okay, now here's the thing. Here's the anomaly thing about Sonic Lost World, is that it controls really well, which is such a rare thing for bad Sonic games. Like, bad Sonic games, almost everyone, like, always complains about the controls, like Shadow, 06, Secret Rings, etc. This game controls fine. Unfortunately, it's the best aspect of this game, because, God. Okay, visually, like...
It just looks like it's ripping off Mario Galaxy.
Well, yes, but also, like, from a technical standpoint, it looks pretty good. From a level design perspective, in my opinion, this is some of the worst in the series. For a standard, like, run to the end of the level, like, with no bullshit Sonic game level design, this shit sucks. I hate the fucking tubular level design that this game, like, uses over and over again. The parkour system is fine. I don't get why it's there. It's just kind of whatever. I don't really care. It's like, I feel like they wanted to make like a 3D game with more 3D than 2D, like, because I guess they, heard people complain about that in colors. And sure, but like, man, make the 3D good at least. Make it interesting. The music is boring. The level aesthetics are fucking boring. It's just grassland, desert world, forest, Iceland, etc. Lava world, final world. It's Mario. It's like a generic Mario game. It's a Mario ripoff, basically. God, I do not like this game.
Justin, what do you have to say about it?
Alright, I'm gonna spit some hot fire and say that I already don't like Galaxy, so the fact that Lost World pretty much takes Galaxy's level design makes it complete dog shit to me. Like, I do not care for it.
That's the thing, too. Galaxy is one of my favorite games of all time, and I hate this game.
The Wisps are more of a suggestion than an actual gameplay feature.
Oh yeah, the Wisps suck too. They literally had to
garbage.
patch the game so you don't have to use the motion controls because they were so bad.
The parkour, I honestly think the parkour is redundant because a lot of things you can do with the parkour is something that Sonic could already do. So it's like, hey, you can run on walls, except you could do that before. And it's like, hey, you can kind of climb walls. It's like, but couldn't I do that in Sonic Adventure 2? So it's like, I feel like I've done this before. What you call it? The gameplay, you could play it, but I wouldn't call it exciting. And oh Jesus Christ, the bosses are a snooze fest. It's like, what the fuck? Who designed these bosses? It's like, if people say that Sonic Colors is easy, Lost World is a whole fucking different kind of easy. Because it's like,
oh yeah.
What?
Can we also mention the Deadly Six, who are fucking boring ass characters that have like one-note personalities?
They took designs. I was gonna say
except for Zavok, who's cool.
I was gonna say they took designs off DeviantArt and ran with it.
Pretty much.
It's like,
all right,
they're
Landon.
It's like they're not memorable.
Landon, let's give us the gospel.
Oh.
There are 2 good Sonic games. Everything else is ranged from mediocre to bad. This is the best mediocre Sonic game.
You know what? That's fair.
And that's that. That's all I have to say on that.
Oh, come on. Explain yourself.
Do I have to?
I was gonna say he did kind of explain to himself. He said that there's 2 good Sonic games. He put Lost World at third,
but like,
and he
explain why this is the best of the shit to you.
I don't know. I like it. I would rather play it over most of the franchise at any given time. If you said, hey Landon, play this, and you gave me Sonic 06, I'd be like, no. If you gave me Sonic Lost World, I'd probably be like, I'll think about it. That's about it. That's
and
how
it was number 3 on your list.
That's how I threw them all together, because I was like, well, I'd probably on a bad day, I'd probably think about playing it.
I was gonna say, to be fair, Landon is too busy playing Game Gear Sonic games to care about the 3D games.
Landon is the enlightened Sonic fan that only cares about the Game Gear games.
The only good games.
All right, moving on then.
All right. Number 8 is Sonic Forces with 24 points. 8th on my list, 7th on Cloud's list, 8th on Landon's list, and 10th on Justin's list.
Wow.
Yeah. For the record, I have not played this game still. I put it at this spot on the list purely because I have seen Let's Plays of the game, so I've seen the entire game. The story is stupid and I hate it. Aside from like some memeable moments, like it's not supposed to be Fun Vector. That's why they call it War, which is hilarious. But like the level design looks generic, and I've heard like horror stories about how classic Sonic controls, and that's pretty much all I have to say.
He's kind of janky.
All right. I was the one that put it the highest on this list, huh? Sonic Forces is okay, in my opinion. I think the music at points is actually a bop. Some of the... I think it was like Aqua Ruin or whatever the level is with Modern Sonic that has like a really good song. Soundtrack in general is decent. The level aesthetics are okay. The level design itself is not the worst, but it is also... It feels like it's just kind of there. For Modern Sonic, it works fine. It's not exciting in any way, but it looks good and it controls fine. It's just there's no exciting set pieces really to go off of. It's just kind of there, which is kind of a compliment, but at the same time, it's still like, come on, Sonic. You did this before and you did it well, so I don't know what's wrong this time. Classic Sonic, yes, no, I don't like this, and I know that they literally just jammed this down our throats because it worked in Generations, and they were tying this into Mania, and I'm really upset that they tried to do that, because this classic Sonic's just, I mean, he's far from like gameplay wise worse than, he's not worse than some of the worst Sonic has ever had to offer. I will put that out there. It's still playable, but God, is it not fun at all, really. Like, there's like 2 levels out of like the 6 or 7 that I think classic Sonic has that are actually okay. The avatar character, though, is actually pretty cool. I like being able to create your own avatar character that gets put in the Sonic universe. They control fine. You can give them a bunch of different abilities. They all control pretty well. They all play pretty fine. I actually think that the avatar was pretty cool, and I think that they should do that again in the future. Story-wise, I actually think it's okay. I think it's a little undercooked. I think that the concept of waging a war against Eggman is actually kind of cool, but at the same time, they just don't execute well on it, which is a running trend with a lot of Sonic game plots. It's a cool concept that thankfully wasn't put into like edgy territory, but it's still just...
Oh no, it's edgy.
It's
edgy.
not Sonic 06 or Shadow edgy though. Like, when I think edgy, I mean I think of those games. Like, I don't like it. It's just kind of hammy, I'll say. It's not like it's not horrible, but it's definitely not good. Like, and like I said, musically, it's pretty good. Yeah, it's there. Like, a lot of people have pretty much said that it is probably one of the most there Sonic games. It doesn't do anything incredible. It doesn't do anything like horrible compared to other Sonic games. It just kind of goes par for the course, and that par for the course is kind of a low bar for Sonic. That's basically it. Like, it's aight. That's all I gotta say.
It is the definition of mediocre, If you open a dictionary right now, there's just a picture of the box art for Sonic Forces.
I believe you.
Yep. That is a true fact. You can go look at that right now.
Okay. I also just wanted to say real quick, I think it's hilarious how Sonic Forces is probably the single most like agreed upon Sonic game in terms of like opinion of the game itself, because like the Sonic fan base is fucking volatile.
Yeah.
Like everybody has a different opinion, but almost everyone agrees Sonic Forces is okay. It's not good, it's not awful, it's okay.
If Sonic Team and Sega, their goal was to make a game that everybody could agree on how good or bad it was, they achieved that at least.
Oh.
Justin, do you have anything to say about Forces? Never forget, this was in your top 10 games of 2017.
And now
Yeah,
it's
but like I said then, I think the game is still pretty mediocre. It doesn't piss me off like Lost World does, but it also isn't that good. What do you call it? Like, Infinite was like a source of hilarity, because I'm honestly convinced myself that the reason why Shadow doesn't act
character.
the reason why Shadow doesn't act edgy anymore is because he got it all sucked out by Infinite. And the music is kind of hit or miss with me, because some songs I like, some songs I think are kind of weird, and then there's the Genesis sound chip songs, which I think are almost universally terrible.
Yeah, I forgot about that. They tried really hard to do like nostalgia baiting like sound for the classic stuff, and it doesn't work.
Except for Ghost Town, I like that one. That one is actually decent.
That one was pretty good.
And this is coming from a guy who prefers the Genesis sound chip over the Super NES, and I still don't fucking like those tunes. I don't know. It's a game to meme about. It's not really that great, but it's not gonna piss you off.
Okay.
Sonic Forces, it's there.
It's definitely there. All right, moving on. Our number 7 is Sonic and the Black Knight. Hey, it's that game we LP'd twice.
So many years ago.
Sonic and the Black Knight was 7th on my list, 8th on Cloud's list, 7th on Landon's list, and 8th on Justin's list. Landon, you start because you LP'd the game.
Oh no. This game functions.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, I mean,
in a way that Secret Rings never did.
Like, okay, I'm a little surprised that you put it so low on your list, considering you were willing to LP it twice.
It's short. It's fucking short, man.
Yeah, that's true.
It takes no time. And playing as Knuckles is an option.
And it doesn't suck.
Also true.
And he like isn't collecting emerald pieces, so he actually has gameplay for once in his life.
He's collecting souls of his enemies.
Hey, he
Yeah.
had gameplay in Sonic 06.
We don't talk about
We're
that.
not talking about that anymore. Yeah, we don't talk about Sonic
You
06
said
anymore.
the same thing.
We're past that point now.
Oh my god.
I think there are a handful of levels that look nice and play okay, and then there is the rest of the game. I like the idea of unlocking new weapons, but since you can't really use them as Sonic, which means you have to use the other knights, and you don't get them to the back half of the game, and the game's so short already that it's kind of whatever. So unless you're like trying to, for whatever reason, trying to 100% the game, it's
God, why?
not really worth your time. But it's just a neat concept that should have been baked more. And
Yeah.
that's really what I got. Like I said, there's a couple like really nice looking areas. The only like song I know I don't like on the soundtrack on any given day is the original version of the final boss song.
Oh yeah,
Don't know.
the Crush,
I
the
don't
Crush
know-
40, the Crush 40
Crush 40
version,
version
is so much better.
is infinitely better. I don't know what it is. If it's the mixing on that one, if it's just the vocalist on that, or what. But I do not care for that version of it. The rest of the soundtrack is actually like
It's
good to like really good.
yeah.
Yeah.
This-
You talk about the final boss thing when you say Crush 40's version, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
The Crush 40 version is much better.
Yeah, I agree.
So I didn't get to play this game. I put it higher up just because from watching the LP, because we obviously were all part of it. It looks fine. It sounds pretty good, and it definitely looks like it plays quite a bit better than some of the worst Sonic games out there. And I do kind of like the concept of the fact that you can unlock other characters to play as, and it just seems like the sword gameplay actually doesn't, work terribly bad. So it seems like it's okay. Also, there's a boss that is literally just a Toho boss, so that's kind of cool, I guess.
It got a point.
Never forget.
Never forget.
It's Toho!
It's
Toho!
Jesus Christ.
So this is a game that for my list personally, we're getting into like the better half of the games. Like this is on the better end of okay for me. I do actually enjoy this game despite the fact that it is deeply flawed.
It is corny as fuck, too.
Oh yeah, the story is just don't pay attention to the story. The story sucks. Who cares?
There's a story.
Yeah.
It is a storybook game, so
I remember the cutscene where Knuckles tries to kill himself.
Yeah.
Never forget. I mean, gameplay wise, it's okay. It's decently fun. Like it does use the same auto running formula that Secret Rings does, but I feel like level design wise, it's built in such a way that well, first of all, you can walk backwards from the get-go, so that's not a problem anymore.
You don't have to unlock shit.
Yeah, that bullshit is gone. But also, like, the level design is built so that, like, you don't really ever need to go backwards, or you don't need to, like, retrace your steps. It's pretty much like, yeah, would it have been better if it was just like a normal Sonic game where you just run forward and swing the sword? Yes. Is it still good? No, but it's okay. And, visually the game looks good for a Wii game. The music is good. I do enjoy the music, actually. And, I mean, for the most part, it's just like, I don't hate playing it. I would not say it's good, but I enjoy it to an extent. Justin, do you have anything to say?
I like the game. I actually don't like it as much as Secret Rings, but the controls are definitely better. I'll say that, because and the fact that they got rid of the unlocking shit, that's good too. Because as much as I grinded to the point in Secret Rings that I did, that should have been unnecessary. Because, like I said, getting a high level Sonic just means you basically play Sonic now, and not just fucking molasses. But yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say about that.
Okay, moving on. Our number 6 is Sonic Adventure 1, game we recently finished LPing with 32 points. It was 4th on my list. It was 6th on Cloud's list. It was 2nd on Justin's list. And it was 12th on Landon's list.
Jesus! Holy shit, they're all over the place.
Yeah. This,
all right,
yeah. So, I mean, I feel like we don't need to talk about this one too much because we just finished LPing it.
Yeah, but we didn't really, like, go into depth on what our opinions are, like, based on, like, with this comparison in mind. Because we have somebody who thinks it's their second favorite 3D Sonic game, and someone who thinks it's their second least favorite.
I don't think. I know.
There's a bit of dissonance here. I'm just going to say, since it's right in the middle of mine, this is the first Sonic game on the list that I can actually decisively say I like. It is flawed. The story is okay. It is definitely flawed, though. It's just, most of the characters are kind of fun to play, even if they aren't like the smooth as butter, like perfectly fine-tuned kind of like gameplay that we would like to see nowadays. I mean, they still control okay for the kind of game that it is. It's overall pretty fun. Music's good. I thought the characters are, before everything got like out of hand, we'll say. Like the cast of characters, big notwithstanding, is pretty much fine. And I already went into depth on how much I liked certain character storylines like Gamma's, so yeah. I like Sonic Adventure, and it probably helps that the Chow Garden is a thing. We didn't do anything involving Chow Garden in the Let's Play, but Chow Garden being a thing is very much one of the reasons why I do enjoy this game as well.
I like this game. I would not say it's a good game, but I do like I said in the Adventure LP, this is probably the worst game that I would say that I would consider a game that I love. Because I love playing through it, but at the same time, it's incredibly flawed. Like, the voice acting sucks, the animations and the cutscenes suck, it's glitchy as hell, some of the level design has not aged well, some of the characters I don't really care much to play for, but Sonic in this game is great, actually. Like, Sonic and, most of his levels are really fun to play. Tails is pretty good. Knuckles is pretty good. Gamma and Amy are okay. Big is big, but whatever. I've played through this game, start to finish, a million times. And it's fun, and I enjoy playing it. But I do acknowledge that, I understand why people do not like it, and it is a very, very flawed game. Also, the soundtrack is god tier. Okay, I'm done.
Go ahead, Justin.
Do you want me to flip a coin?
No, Justin can go ahead.
Okay.
So,
tell us why you like this game.
For real though, I do actually think, despite the fact that I do think most of the characters are okay, I actually don't like Amy as much as Gamma, only because, Gamma, for one thing, he's not super fast, but he's definitely faster than Amy, and I just like his, shooter gameplay more than I like Amy's, slow trug to fucking get to the end of the stage in a quick enough time. Sonic's excellent. He's actually my favorite character to break levels because of the spin dash jump, which I love abusing so much. Knuckles can be really fucking easy because you saw when I was actually at the helm that I was completing most of those in a minute, and sometimes under a minute. So they're really fucking simple if you just know how to blitz it. And then Tails is basically just Sonic, but with moon jump hacks, aka his flight. As Jack said, the music is God's gift to me because I love that fucking soundtrack, and I will go so far to say that I think the character themes are better in Adventure than they are in Adventure 2. That's just how I feel. But then there's also, the poopy poops where, the game tends to sometimes bug out. I've fallen through platforms that I really shouldn't have. Sometimes the spin dashing can be a bit finicky and, throw you into something that you really didn't want to. And sometimes the platforming just doesn't work. I've faced through a few things like that before.
But Justin, what makes it your second favorite 3D Sonic game?
What puts this above everything else below it?
Honestly, it's both my long-term experience with it and just the fact that I kind of miss the adventure formula. I'm really nostalgic for it, and I love the boost. Well, I love the boost gameplay when it works. But I think as the games have gotten more boost heavy and it's basically just become, a speed run, get to point A and B without fucking up too much kind of game.
Not as focused on set pieces and platforming as much as you'd like other games to do, I'm guessing.
Well, yeah, because if you look at the level design of Adventure, especially considering how easily you can break it, Adventure was more freeform with how you could take the levels, whereas the Boost games are kind of linear. It's just, I kind of miss that kind of open worldness that wasn't actually an open world, but you could just kind of take on the level in any way you wanted to. So
yeah, that's fair. There's still like some non-linearity to Adventure's levels in some form.
Yeah, and I like I said, I just miss the Adventure formula. That's why I'm so jaded that 06 was the end of an era. It was the last Adventure style game, and it blew ass. So, yeah.
Alright, Landon.
Alright, Landon. Tell us why this game sucks.
I hate this piece of poo-poo.
Yeah.
Compared to, like, it's not even this game aged poorly. It's compared to 3D platformers around the same time, this game doesn't even, like, I feel hold a candle compared to some of it. The level design, there's one level that I can say I not even, like, enjoyed, but I thought, oh, that's neat, and that's Windy Valley, and that's it. Out of the entire game, that is the only thing I was like, oh, okay. Everything else I did not care for. I, like, sure, the soundtrack is great, but the sound mixing is awful, so you can't really appreciate the game in any sort of context. The story is a 3D Sonic game story, whatever. Some of the bosses, like, are they even boss fights at that point? If you can just stand there and kill them?
Probably not.
I don't care for this game. The only reason why it's above Sonic 06 is because technically in some points it functions better. Maybe. And that's about it. If you want to save us all time, you can just put your own opinions of Sonic Lost World here, and that'll probably apply, because, yeah.
Alright, so moving on to number 5, because we already spent like 10 minutes talking about Adventure.
Jesus. Okay. Number 5 is Sonic Unleashed, another game that we LP'd recently, although recently is in last year. Unleashed was 6th on my list. It was 4th on Cloud's, 5th on Landon's, and 6th on Justin's. Half of this game is good.
I would argue so. This Sonic Unleashed was a little weird for me, and I put it higher because I kind of gave it the benefit of the doubt, just because I asked Jack, I was like, are we considering Sonic Unleashed as both versions together, or are we separating them for this list? Because there's drastic differences between the SD and the HD version. And he said, combine it into one. So I said, okay. I actually think that the Wii version is thoroughly a decent game from start to finish. There's levels that aren't exciting, but it is a thoroughly decent game from start to finish. And the HD version, the only really, really, really bad thing about the game is the Werehog, and the early stages of the Werehog are still okay. So I put that all together, and I actually think that Sonic Unleashed gets a little overhated sometimes. It's like, the soundtrack is really, really good, especially the day stage music, and the level design, especially for the day stages in most of the HD version, as well as most of the SD version, because the Wii version is also pretty good, it's really fun to just go back and replay them. And even some of the earlier Werehog levels of the Wii version, I actually like the Chunon level for the Werehog in the Wii version. It's actually really cool. Like, there's this like big climb up like a cliffside, and like you go through like these like themed buildings. It's surprising how I go back and I think, Sonic Unleashed is actually kind of fun. The story is, I think it's not bad, because it's like it kind of simplifies a lot of stuff, so it's not like trying to be like super edgy and overcomplicated, but it also does introduce Chip, and he's really annoying.
Fuck Chip.
So yeah, he points off for that. But yeah, overall, I would say Sonic Unleashed is a decent game because the good stuff is highly replayable, and the worst stuff is definitely not, in my opinion, worse than a lot of other bad Sonic stuff. Like, it's still like playable. And even some of the other stuff that like a lot of people complained about, like in some, depending on what we're talking about, is actually not that bad. I think that Sonic Unleashed is actually, and overall, it aged a lot better than like Sonic Adventure. I will definitely say that, and that's saying something because like Sonic Unleashed gets critiqued a lot, and so does Sonic Adventure. But I think Sonic Unleashed actually holds up not too bad compared to Sonic Adventure.
To be fair, Unleashed is like a 10 years newer game than Sonic Adventure, so...
Then what's Sonic 06's problem?
Yeah, I was going to say, here's the thing, though. Sonic Unleashed is still...
Sonic 06 sucked from day one. That's the problem.
Sonic Unleashed is a game that came out in 2008, so it is older than the year gap between it and Sonic Adventure at this point.
Okay, that is true.
And it still holds up not too bad. That's my point.
All right, fair. So Unleashed is a game that I like. I mean, like is a strong word. I did LP it. Like, overall, yes, half of it is not good. Like, I do not care for the Werehog, but at the same time, I would still play like a game of exclusively Werehog levels over pretty much anything below Sonic Forces on my own personal list. So, like, yeah, I like the Werehog more than Lost World, more than Shadow, more than Secret Rings, etc.
It's playable.
It's playable, and it's not the worst thing ever. The music is really good, at least, when it's not interrupted by... ba-da-ba-da-ba-da. Yeah, the gameplay is whatever in terms of the Werehog, but the day stages are great. The day stages I do actually really enjoy. Of course, I mean, like, everybody loves the day stages in this game. I mean, they're fun, they're fast, they were, like, a nice change of pace from, the same formula that 3D Sonic games had been using for 10 years. And, people loved it because it wasn't 06, because it came out right after 06. And yeah, they're fun, they're replayable, they're, like, not super polished, and, like, I wouldn't say, like, they're even close to some of the best levels in the series. Like, some people think. There are people out there that are like, Unleashed is my favorite Sonic game. Like, going back to the very volatile opinions of the Sonic fan base. Like, you can trash any...
I would at least say that if someone thinks that Sonic Unleashed is their favorite Sonic game, at least there's something they can debate there.
I mean, I guess, but like, what's better about Unleashed, like, compared to Colors or Generations? But that's a topic for another day. So, like, overall, yes, like, as an overall package, I do actually enjoy playing through Unleashed. Like, whether it be the Wii version or the HD version, it's a fun time. Despite the Werehog stages being kind of mediocre, being very mediocre, even. Yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say.
Landon, are you going to go last, or do you want to go first this time?
I can go right now.
You can go right now. Okay.
Do it.
The Wii, specifically because the PS2. Ha! The Wii version of the game is a perfectly fine playable game. The downfall of the HD version is it has Sky Chase in it, and I hate Sky Chase, and that's the end of that discussion.
Okay. Alright, Justin, how do you feel about Sonic Unleashed?
I'm gonna throw a second contrarian opinion in a row. Naturally, you could probably already guess my opinion considering how I reacted with... I like Secret Rings, but it's the Wii motion compatibility that I wasn't that fond of. This was still around the time where I wasn't really too keen on Wii motion controls, and because of that, I don't really like Sonic Unleashed on the Wii. It's not something I want to replay. I won't say it's a bad game, but my personal preference is one of the reasons why I don't like it that much. I prefer the 360 version, which I played, and as much as people don't like the werehog, I will actually say that I think people are over exaggerating because I had no problems with the werehog. In fact, my werehog might be considered over leveled compared to everybody else because all that God of War experience had to go somewhere. And maybe it is because I played a lot of God of War when I was growing up, but yeah, I play a pretty decent werehog when I actually have to. I'm not saying that the platforming is perfect because there's some bits of the werehog that kind of fuck me because I feel like he doesn't lock on to certain things when he's supposed to, and then you fall to your doom because usually that's over a pit.
Yeah, it's definitely worse in the HD version too, because like in the Wii version, like the level design kind of like more accommodates for the fact that like he kind of doesn't have the mobility that like Daytime Sonic does. But yeah, the HD version is like here's like this giant bottomless pit, and you're the werehog. Try to go.
Yeah, like my opinion on the werehog is kind of 50-50 depending on the version. It's kind of weird. If it's HD version, I'm golden. I won't complain. If it's the Wii version, I already said I don't like the Wii motion controls, and because the Wii version has more werehog than Sonic, yeah, that's a no from me. But
you don't have to play with motion controls.
Yeah, you technically, like, even though I do prefer the HD version of the game, like, you don't technically have to play with motion controls if you don't want to. The game does have GameCube and Classic controller support as well.
So that is an invalid point.
That is true, except I didn't have a fucking extra controller to work with it at the time.
I think the main issue with Sonic Unleashed, though, in general, is just the fact that the boost and the homing attack are mapped to a... It's just so... high.
Oh, no, the HD version, I will say the biggest complaint is the fact that the fucking boost button is on the fucking homing attack button. That pisses me off.
That is just what he said.
That is literally exactly what he said.
Well, now I said it, so now you know it's double true.
Oh.
Exactly.
Okay.
We had two people say it.
We have to have that Justin seal of doubleness.
All right, we spent another 10 minutes on that one. Let's move on. Number 4 is Sonic Heroes.
Get ready for another 10-minute discussion on another video game.
With 37 points, Sonic Heroes was 5th on my list, it was 5th on Cloud's list, it was 4th on Landon's list, and it was 5th on Justin's list. Okay, so Heroes, I like this game, actually. Like, a lot of people, like, I feel like Heroes is probably the single most overhated 3D Sonic game, because a lot of people do not like this game. And, like, yeah, the controls aren't the best, I will admit that. They're a little slippery. But, like, I still think the game is fun. Like, the level design isn't the best, but it's still, like, it has, like a classic Sonic type of feel to it. I like the gimmick of switching between different characters to perform specific actions. Like, that's a cool thing. I think the level aesthetics are really cool. I love the music in this game. What I don't like is having to play through the same game 4 times to get the true ending, on top of getting all of the Chaos Emeralds, which is its own pain in the ass. But, like, yeah, that is a valid complaint. You're basically playing through all of the same levels over and over again. But I feel like, at least for me personally, like, I can understand why people don't like this. But, like, I feel like the level design is changed up enough between the 4 stories that it's fresh enough to play through each time, because I actually did play through Sonic Heroes like as recently as last year, and I enjoyed myself. I think it's a fun game. Again, you know, not perfect, of course. I think the level design, like, compared to the adventure games, is, like, more linear than I would like it to be. The controls aren't great, and, again, playing through the same levels 4 times isn't, you know, not exactly ideal, but it's a pretty good game. I enjoy it.
All right, Sonic Heroes. This game, if depends on the system you played it on. It is understandable if you did not like this game because you played it on the PS2, because the PS2 version is not optimized at all. It sucks. It actually sucks. But if you played it on the Xbox or the GameCube, it's a good game, I think. My only complaint is I don't like Team Chaotix, and I think that's not because of the characters, but their gameplay. I just don't think that mission-based gameplay, and I complained about this in Shadow's game too, it doesn't work in the kind of gameplay setting that Sonic has. It doesn't really fit. Some of them, the missions are okay. They aren't like horrible, but there's also other missions that like you will have to redo a level like multiple times over until you actually get everything. But replaying the levels, like Jack said, it's actually not as bad as a lot of people say, and that's because the fact that you can switch characters, there are options to go off the beat, off of one path, and like kind of have a little bit of branching pathways by taking a different formation into it, either speed, power, or flight. The characters are all not handled too bad in this game. The voice acting is hit or miss, but overall the story is perfectly fine. I think the story, if we don't talk about like the writing of the story, because the writing of the story is obviously corny Sonic game 101, but the story itself as a concept is actually pretty cool, because it's like, you know, Eggman's supposed to be doing a thing, but it turns out it's Metal Sonic, and it's just like a kind of like a nice basic down-to-earth Sonic game where, you know, the stakes aren't like super high, but at the same time it's serious enough that they have to go save the day. And the music's really good. Like Jack said, the gameplay with the switching teams is actually perfectly fine. I think my main reason why I didn't put it above Unleashed, and I put Unleashed first, is just Sonic Heroes, unlike how Jack feels about it, I don't think I can really, like, there's other Sonic games and segments of Sonic games that I would rather go back to first before going back to play Sonic Heroes. But I wouldn't be opposed to going back to Sonic Heroes. It is still fine, but it's not the game that I'm going to say, I want to replay that. Like, there's other Sonic games that I would actually go back to, and like Unleashed is one of those things where like I'll take, since I already have a save file, I'll go back and I'll play the levels that I like from that. I'm not going to do that with Heroes. Like, Heroes is just not that kind of game. But when you actually sit down and you just decide, hey, I'm going to play it, like, it's pretty good. It's not too bad.
If you put a gun to my head, I will play Team Rose. If you pull the trigger, well, I can't play the game anymore, so there's that.
Jesus. And you put it fourth on your list.
Hey, I'll say this again. There are two good 3D Sonic games.
Okay, what makes this better than the rest of the shitty ones, barring Lost World?
I enjoy the 3D, the team structure, like as far as being able to rotate between characters in the middle of a mission, and you know it like works. Also playing as, you know, Team Rose in battle, so I can beat Cream and just cream people.
Oh yeah, the boss battles are actually, I think I like them more in Unleashed. That's probably another reason I put Unleashed higher.
I meant specifically the multiplayer.
The multiplayer's so broken.
Exactly.
The multiplayer's, it's fun though.
Yeah.
It's so broken though.
Unless someone has Cream.
Exactly. I like being Cream in the multiplayer, and that's it. I would rather, like Cloud said, I'd rather play the Chaotix missions over Shadow Story, which is why it's like this is like on the higher end, and I would play through like Team Sonic over most of the Sonic games if I was forced to. But that's about it. Like it's okay. It has good music. I like the level, like aesthetics are fine. Like the power plant level has some fun set pieces.
Power plant level's good.
Was that Metropolis Zone? I think.
I believe so. Because it's like part city. It like starts off as a city, and then you go into.
Yeah, I was gonna say
plant.
the second act of the Grand Metropolis is like
Grand Metropolis, yeah.
It's Grand Metropolis, and then I'm pretty sure the next level's Power Plant.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because it's like a two-parter.
Yeah.
But I will say this: fuck the rain frogs.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, those assholes.
Frog Force.
Fuck those assholes.
They ruined an otherwise perfectly good level.
Wait, are you talking about the green ones or the black ones?
It doesn't matter.
black ones.
Just fuck them all.
All right, Justin, do you want to add anything?
I really like this game. Obviously I don't don't really like chaotics that much. I mean, I don't hate them, but I don't like the mission structure. That's not fun to me. But the three parts of the game are still good in my opinion. Like, even though Rose is just much shorter than everybody else's. I don't know. It's just like I forgot who said it because I was listening to somebody else when they were talking about it. But yeah, it really does feel like the closest thing to like a 3D classic Sonic game, the way everything is structured.
That one was Jack.
Yeah, okay.
I said that.
Sweet. But I like Landon also said, I like the team structure. Like, it's like, hey, they found a way to play as multiple characters without constantly having to like butt their stories in. It's like, this is actually kind of cool. I wouldn't mind a sequel if they ever made it. The music is fantastic, of course, because this is like the golden age of all the music, in my opinion, because it was really good back then. But I do share the complaint that I think the Sonic characters are a little bit too slippery. That's probably why they added the fact that when you kind of go off a ledge, they kind of like lean off of it to try and stop you. I don't think that always happens, but there's at least a save for it.
Oh yeah, like if you're about to fall off, like you trip, like it has the character like stop before they actually fall off.
Yeah, it's supposed to catch you. And you know, it's just a fun little relaxing game that you can play without having to worry about the game being too hard, unless you're playing Team Dark. And I love the visuals. Like, Egg Fleet is my favorite level to play through just for the fucking visuals alone. I love that level. But yeah, I really like Sonic Heroes. I probably actually played it about as much as the two adventure games, to be honest. And it was nice to see the Chaotix after being ignored for so long.
Make way for the Chaotix, man.
Yeah, man, make way for the Chaotix, son.
Right. Who got the bronze medal, Jack?
Bronze medal, Sonic Adventure 2.
With
Sonic Adventure 2 had, 44 points. It was second on my list. It was third on Cloud's. It was sixth on Landon's, and second on Justin's.
Honestly, I thought that Landon was going to end up putting Sonic Adventure 2 even lower.
Why?
Because you hate fun.
Okay.
I thought your logic would have been that Sonic Adventure 2 is just more the same of Sonic Adventure, and then just would have trashed it for like 2 minutes straight.
Except it's not, because
See, it has City Escape, and that's why
it
it's so
has
high.
City Escape.
So who wants to start talking about Sonic?
I'm going to, because you already started talking about my opinion on it, so I might as well.
All right, yeah, go ahead.
So the problem with SA1 is it recycles levels for each character, whereas between the two stories, it actually has unique level design for the different play styles. You're not reusing set pieces, and it feels fresh. That's all I have to say on that. I don't really care otherwise. Like,
Okay.
It's fine. It's fine. Yeah, City Escape is fun. It's not Speed Highway. What's the bridge one? Is it Speed Highway?
Radical Highway?
Radical Highway. That's the one. That one's fun. Eggman is like Eggman and Tails. Like, I like playing in the mech levels. Emerald hunting is emerald hunting, and but 2/3 of the game is fun to play through. All right. Leave me alone.
Jack, I actually want to know what makes Sonic Adventure 2 your second favorite.
I'm going to be honest, a good deal of it is nostalgia. I played the fuck out of this game when I was a kid. It's like one of the most nostalgic games for me ever. But at the same time, I do still think there's a lot to appreciate about this game. I love the Sonic and Shadow levels are all fantastic, in my opinion. Like, some of the best like Sonic levels in the entire series. The rest of the game is, I will admit, not on par with the Sonic and Shadow levels. Like, yeah, the mech levels are fun. I do think that the mech levels are overhated. Like, you know, they don't control super fluidly, but like I think the level design is good, and I think they're just kind of fun to like blast through in a literal sense. The Emerald stages can definitely take a while, and some of them, you know, like Mad Space and Death Chamber, can just suck a dick. But I mean, like, for the most part, like, I do love this game, and I love playing it, like, start to finish. Like, there's, like, Mad Space aside, there's very few moments of this game that I, like, dread playing through, and, like, I admire, well, the story's not perfect at all. I wouldn't even call it good. I admire how, like, ambitious it is for, like, a Sonic game at the time. And, you know, when you're, like, 8 or 9 years old, that's, like, the Sonic Adventure 2 story is, like, the coolest shit in the world. Let's be real. So yeah, like, again, part of it is nostalgia, but I do still love this game. I still play through it, like, every once in a while, just because I enjoy playing through it. I want to redux the game at some point. Like, I want to do a redux LP at some point, but anyway, that's for another time.
So for me, Sonic Adventure 2, I have a lot of nostalgia for this game as well. It is one of the few games that I've ever actually 100% finished, because
you masochist.
I did get all 180 emblems. I did unlock Green Hill. There's a video of me playing that, although the quality on it's shit and I'd have to redo it. But it's just a really fun game, and like Jack said, the gameplay for like Shadow and Sonic is like some of the best that the series has to offer in 3D space, and even the Tails and Eggman levels are all pretty good because they're designed with the mechanic in mind. The Rouge and Knuckles levels, honestly, they don't really get bad until later. Like, even the first few levels for each of them are perfectly fine. They're perfectly fun. It's just like the last couple on each of them, they decided to just make them really annoying for some reason. But other than that, like, other than just those couple levels, and the fact that the audio balancing is kind of weird.
It's really bad.
It's more apparent if you're actually playing it in English, because if you play it in Japanese, it actually, like, everything lines up a lot better. But it's the audio balancing, just like in Sonic Adventure 1, not as bad, but it is still there. Although I will argue that the story is, at least for a Sonic game, actually perfectly serviceable. I think it's my favorite story in any Sonic game still. I think that they do a decent job of introducing a new character or two, which is Shadow and Rouge, having a cohesive plot that works decently well enough, and it is executed so much better here, at least by Sonic standards, than it was in Sonic Adventure 1, and much better than it was executed in several later Sonic games. Like, at least things feel like there's some depth to them, like, unlike Sonic Forces, which tries to throw a serious plot at you and it doesn't stick at all. Like, at least Sonic Adventure 2 can kind of feel the seriousness of the situation when it gets there. The resolution of the story is also really satisfying, like getting to figure out like all the stuff about Shadow and fighting a failsafe in the biohazard that like tries to destroy the world is actually really cool. Like, and Chow Garden is especially in this game, like, one of the best damn things I've ever played in a Sonic game, and I talk about the Chow Garden every chance I get. I fucking love Chow Garden. I'm so sad it's gone. Please bring it back. Please bring it back.
No.
All in all, it's just a really decent game. I think that there's a few flaws. It definitely aged better than its prequel, and it's still perfectly fine to go back to today. And it's good. And the music is excellent. And I won't waver on that point. The music is excellent. Okay, go ahead. One of you two. Oh wait, Landon, you already talked. So, Justin, it's down to you.
Oh, who's that?
It's you. It's your Justin.
As much praise as the game gets, I mean, I'm not really saying that it's that bad, but I honestly do think that there's like every character has at least like one level that I think is kind of shit, if only because it frustrates me. Like for the shooter ones, like I also say that I'll criticize the mech gameplay if only because like I praised Gamma because I said I actually liked his shooting. I take some of that praise away from Adventure 2 because they don't have the mobility that Gamma does, and they're way heavier because they drop much quicker, and they can't jump as high as Gamma can either. That's not too much of an issue up until you get to the fucking arc levels, because Artificial Chaos can suck my dick. It's like, Jesus. They're not bad with the speed characters, but they're a fucking nightmare with the mech characters. I think this is definitely the best, like in terms of the speed characters, I definitely think this is their best gameplay that they've had. Well, I mean, I still like Sonic Adventure, but I actually do think Adventure 2 did it better. You know, everything moves more fluidly. I think there's a bit more weight on the characters in 2 than there is in 1, because 1 is extremely fucking floaty. But you can kind of still do the spin dash jump. You just can't do it that well. And then, you know, the treasure hunting definitely took a hit because the radar sucks compared to 1, which locked on to multiple emeralds and even told you specifically how close you were. And then of course Rouge and Knuckles' worst levels is Mad Space and Meteor Herd respectively. I tolerate Meteor Herd more than Mad Space, but that's only because it doesn't do the fucking... Well, no, it wasn't even really Galaxy, because Sonic did it first. I'm not proud of that, because I still don't like the level. But, Meteor Herd is just too big. But, you know, all that aside, it's still a good game, because I still love the shit out of it. And the music is excellent. And, I think, in terms of, like, new characters introduced, I definitely think Shadow was the best in 2. I know that's obvious because that was his introduction to the series, but you know, everything else just kind of... I didn't really like the amnesia angle, and I thought him getting progressively more edgy as time went on was kind of dumb.
All right, so moving on. Moving on. Number 2 is Sonic Colors, with 48 points.
47. But I'm colorblind.
47 points. My bad. Sonic Colors was third on my list, first on both Cloud and Landon's lists, and fourth on Justin's. So I'm gonna say one of you guys can start.
Landon, do you want to go first? Or do you want me to go first?
You can go ahead.
All right. I think so. Sonic Colors, we're in the middle of a Let's Play for it right now, so I don't
go watch that.
Go watch that. I don't really think I need to go into depth, because I'm going to be talking about Sonic Colors during the Let's Play enough. It is obvious to anyone that knows me, I love Sonic Colors to death, despite its very few flaws. I think when I look at the game through the lens of what does the game offer, as opposed to what does the game not offer, this game is just really, really good. Like, the music is amazing, the sense of exploration and platforming in this game is like some of the best in the series. Like, it's right up there with even the classic games. Like, there's so much to explore, and when you get all the different power-ups, you feel like you have so much power to just go wherever you want to go. And it's just a really highly replayable game with a fun enough, if cheesy, story to it, and just really well-made levels, really great aesthetics that are very unique and pretty much never done again in any other games. And just the whole package together is just really good. There's bonus levels that you can play that you don't have to play for the main game, but they're also really fun to play. So it's just like, this game has my only major complaint is that this game could have done with having actual unique boss fights for every single world, because I do mention that in the Let's Play, they recycle 3 bosses, but I really can't complain about anything else. Like, it's just a really fun game.
I agree. I like this game. And
it's one of the 2 good ones, apparently.
It is one of the only 2 good 3D Sonic games that have ever been made and probably ever will be made.
Unless Sega gets their shit together, maybe.
We don't know. There's literally no way to know. And I thought about when we were putting the lists together, which I liked more, this or Generations, and I went with Colors as the one I put up higher, just because I had more fun with it overall. Especially like going for like all the red rings and like exploring the levels and stuff, because in parts of Generations you don't really, there are certain sections where you don't have as much freedom, just because it definitely goes heavier in the boost to win mechanics in some of it, and it's like ripping from old stages in some of the parts. I don't know. I like the level structure. I like the Wisp powers are all fun to use to explore, and I enjoy the story, even if it's pretty simple. It's just, you know, a good laugh.
All right, Justin or Jack, who's going next?
Justin, you can go.
So Sonic Colors is actually very different from Unleashed for the simple fact that it is actually, of all the boost games that came out, this is actually the least boost to win, because racing to the finish is not actually guaranteed that you're going to get an S rank. This one's more points based, so I guess this one's the more technical Sonic game, because it's all about playing well, not necessarily playing fast. And because, you know, you got to use the Wisp, you got to spam quick step whenever you can. You got to make I think do you get a bonus for like homing attack chains?
No.
I don't remember. No? Okay. I guess that was the other games. And you know, because the Wisp help you boost, but you don't get a whole lot of them. Like, only certain enemies actually drop them, and most of them are like in little Wisp capsules.
Oh yeah, they like heavily nerf the boost mechanic.
Yeah, you're not gonna be boosting too much. Maybe that's a good thing, because Sonic Unleashed is the first game to introduce the boost mechanic, but compared to Generations, Unleashed is fucking blisteringly fast, like to the point that sometimes you can't keep up. So I think slowing Sonic down a little bit was probably to the game's benefit, because it's more, like I said, technical based. So there's definitely more, I guess, I wouldn't really say thinking involved. It's just, you just gotta play better. It's not a particularly hard game. It's just, you're not gonna get an S rank if you're constantly dying. And you know, it's the first time Sonic's actually had unique power-ups that could probably compete with like Mario or something. I mean, they're not the same, but you know, it's something that was actually new, because nothing had, like the Wisp had been done before. So it was definitely a step in the right direction, in my opinion. It's much more lighthearted game compared to basically everything before it, but you know, it has its moments, but it's a pretty simple story, and it's also the one with the, you know, the new voice cast, so you get to hear them. And yeah, it's just a good game.
Jack.
All right, I'll make this quick because yeah. So Sonic Colors is a great game. It was at the time, it was the first 3D Sonic game in a while where they didn't fuck up anything. It's a great game. My one major complaint is that the 3D to 2D ratio is a little skewed in favor of 2D.
Oh, it's a lot.
And
skewed.
some of the it's a hell of a lot skewed. And some of the 2D platforming can be kind of slow and not super interesting, but aside from that, the game is like basically flawless. I mean, aside from some kind of like not great dialogue in the cutscenes, but like, you know, it's a really fun game. It has great music, it controls great, great level design, etc. Thumbs up.
All right.
So we're gonna move on.
Number one, gold medal.
If you've been paying attention, you already know what it is. Our number one is Sonic Generations. Number one on my list, number two for Landon and Cloud, and number three for Justin.
So Sonic Generations is also a really good game. I actually reviewed this game for the Sonic Spot for Union Board on GameSpot, and I stand pretty much by what I said about it. It is definitely a great game. I think there's a few flaws with it, and with those flaws, it's mostly in... So, I've talked about, over the course of this video, how replayable is a Sonic game? How likely am I going to go back to it? And with the case of Sonic Colors, I go back to a lot of the levels pretty much consistently. With Sonic Generations, I really, really enjoyed this game, and the levels are really well made, but like what was said, the fact that they're a little bit more concentrated on the whole boosting, I typically go for the earlier levels of both classic and modern Sonic, just because I feel like, although they're all really good levels overall, there's just kind of, there's an oversaturation of stuff going on in the later levels. Not that they're poorly designed, but I feel a little overwhelmed, and sometimes I just want a nice level that just kind of like, I understand everything really easily, the set pieces are memorable, and I just want to play through it. And the challenges, because there's like a challenge thing in Generations as well, like, I don't really care. Like, I'm gonna be honest, like, I really couldn't care less about them. I will say that classic Sonic definitely controls fine in this game. Like, Sonic Forces, I remember earlier saying it was miserable experience, but in Generations he controls pretty fine. He does a decent job. The story's not too bad. It's pretty basic, but it also gets the job done. The boss fights, I will say, there's not a lot of them, but they are generally better, in my opinion, than they were in Colors, and I think I will definitely give points to Generations for that, because I don't particularly remember, except for the final boss, I don't particularly remember really disliking any boss in this game. They're all pretty fun, except the timing. I do like how in Sonic Generations, though, you can unlock power-ups and you can customize Sonic to make him a little faster. You can make it so that he gets more boost energy. You can make it so that he starts with a certain shield if he's classic Sonic. There's just a couple of different things that you can do to augment Sonic and make him a little bit more tailor-made to your own experience, and I think that's really cool that they did that. He controls perfectly fine both ways, even if you don't use any power-ups at all, but just the fact that they decided, hey, let's just add this in, is just a really nice little touch. There's like a hub world where like it's not really it's not really complicated. It's just a 2D section, kind of like a Sonic Advance 3 handles the hub worlds in that game, but it's just one cohesive one and it's just a straight line. The fact that this game uses levels from other Sonic games, you would think that it's kind of a detriment, but it does a pretty good job of kind of revitalizing them and making them better in most cases, and sometimes the levels are actually better in this game than the levels they're based on. It's overall just a really good game, though. There's just a few aspects of it that I really couldn't care less about, but everything else is really good. Also, the music is incredibly good.
This game is it. You know?
Oh.
This is just it. This game is amazing. Like, literally my only major complaint with this game is... Okay, two major complaints. The final boss kind of sucks, and pretty much every asset used in this game, like level aesthetics, music, are taken from previous games in the series. And yes, I get that's the point. It's the 20th anniversary game. It's a celebration of the entire series, which they did a fantastic job on, by the way. But, like, aside from that, like, goddamn, the level design is phenomenal. It's some of the best in the entire series. There's so many branching paths. There's so many, like, different ways to play the levels to, like, just add to replay value. There's, like, a bunch of side missions that you can do. The music is fantastic. The game controls really well, whether it's... And I know this game isn't 100% 3D, like, only half of it is, but, like, still.
Not even half.
I think this... Yeah, not even half when you consider that, like, probably a third of modern Sonic is 2D. But it does fix the issue that, like, Sonic Colors had way too much 2D, in my opinion, even if I do would have still preferred that there wasn't 2D at all in modern Sonic's levels, but that's whatever. I don't mind it too much. I just love playing the levels in the game like over and over again. I've put like a ton of time. It was the first game that I ever got the platinum trophy for. A, because it was really easy to get, and B, it was fun. I just liked playing the levels. It was a good time. I love this game. There's like no, like, every Sonic game has like one fatal flaw that stops it from being like, you know, a truly amazing game, but I really don't think this game has one, in my opinion, which is why it's my favorite 3D Sonic game.
I think this game's pretty mediocre overall. There's some weird omissions to the games they decided to go with, especially in like the middle section. But I do like revisiting Mushroom Hill Act 2 a lot. I think that's a really fun...
Wait a minute.
Oh shit.
That's not even a 3D game, Landon. Come on.
Dang it. You got me. How'd you know I was actually talking about Sonic Generations?
Come on, Landon. If you're gonna bamboozle us, if you at least talk about Sonic Lost World for the 3DS, which I've never played, but I've heard is worse.
I have not played that either. I should find a copy at some point. Jokes aside, I do enjoy Sonic Generations. I find it's a fun game. I do not care much for the final boss, much like the others. I remember playing City Escape a lot. So the modern Act 2, so the modern version of it. And I think... I'm trying to remember what other ones I put a lot of time into. But no, I don't really have too many complaints about this game. It's on the subject of having 2D in the game is like for modern Sonic. I think it would get boring if all I'm doing is boosting through levels. So I don't mind having like the 2D sections for like platforming. But
I mean, I think the 3D sections have a fair amount of platforming in them.
I guess it depends on the level. But in any time I ran through it, it always feels like I end up doing more actual platforming in 2D sections rather than just, you know, boosting and driving through enemies and jumping at certain times, you know, while holding the boost button.
Ironically, I think Crisis City probably does one of the best jobs of having platforming in a 3D section.
Yes, I do agree with that. I remember enjoying that a bit.
This is the curse that brought in Classic Sonic forever to ruin everyone's lives. But, you know, obviously here it's actually done the best because they gave half a shit and gave Classic Sonic his actual physics back. The level selections I like. I honestly think, you know, they could have chose some others for different things. Like, I really wish they didn't have fucking Seaside Hill, because I honestly think there were better levels than just another fucking beach level that looks like Green Hill. What you call it?
Why not? Why not the train level?
Isn't that just all grinding?
Not all of it.
I mean, they could have changed it.
Yeah,
I guess. I lost my train of thought. I love the dialogue in this game because this is definitely when they're just fucking around, because a lot of it comes from Eggman being a doofus. Especially when like you end up running into like both of them, the classic and modern versions, because they actively fight with each other. And what you call it? What am I trying to say here? Oh, this is when it kind of got into the territory where it was like, gotta go fast. I mean, some of the later levels, like especially Planet Whist, are a little bit more complicated, and you can't just boost through everything or you're gonna get murdered. But it's definitely not like how like like exactly what I praise Colors for being more technical than speed based, and it kind of goes back into like it dips into more Unleashed, not a whole lot, but definitely more than Colors did. That's not necessarily a bad thing, especially since they hadn't really overdone it yet, because this is only like the second game that's kind of focused on boosting so much. But you know, I think a lot of that is kind of wiped away by the fact that I was nostalgic as fuck for this game, because it's like they literally did everything that they possibly could to like mimic the old days. They even have a Sonic Adventure unused song that was unused in the original Sonic Adventure, and it's still unused to this day. So I don't know if they did that intentionally or what, but that's kind of funny to me. I like the fact that you can like switch up the music. Like you don't necessarily have to listen to everything.
Oh yeah, I'm surprised none of us actually mentioned that. But yeah, go on.
Like you don't necessarily have to listen to the stage theme if you don't want to. Sometimes you actually have the original version, and most of the time you can just play something different over it. So you know, if you know whatever you just feel like.
There is nothing stopping you from playing Supersonic Racing through Crisis City.
Yes, glorious.
It's the only way to play the game.
Yeah, because you kind of have to do it this way, because there's not enough stages to cover exactly the vast amount of fucking music that's in this game, because there's a lot. Only Al's gonna get this, but this is basically the crossover Gundam version of Sonic when it comes to the music, because there's a ton of it and not all of it is covered. One thing I'm proud of is that, at least at the time, not anymore obviously, I held the record, at least on the 360 version, of fastest time killing Metal Sonic. I was quite proud of that. But yeah, the entire game is just you know, big nostalgia trip that I love to death, and I'd probably play more of if my 360 fucking worked. But yeah.
Do you have a console that works?
No. Oh wait, you're asking
not anymore.
him.
Yeah. Anyway,
no, I'm kind of old PC
thank you for watching. That was a long ass video of our rankings of the 3D Sonic games. We hope you enjoyed. Share your opinions in the comments of ranking your favorite 3D Sonic games, or just all of them. Include Boom if you want, and put it at the bottom, because that's where it deserves to be.
God.
As a reminder. Thank you for watching. Links in the description, Twitter, our Discord server, Facebook, etc. And I think that's about it. Bye.